Former President Trump yesterday in Texas highlighting his message for the GOP as he took to the stage at CPAC. Watch.
Our party and our movement, we're all united by the same shared American values and by unyielding resolve to defend our beloved nation. We believe in our Constitution and in law and order. And above all, we live by the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." These are the convictions that define our movement today and must define the Republican Party.
Donald Trump also won the CPAC straw poll with 70% of the attendees supporting him for the 2024 nomination.
Pretty significant, too, because he had 55% on the last CPAC convention. But before that, the bigger story, he sat down with Fox and Friends Enterprise reporter Lawrence Jones. Lawrence joins us now. Hey, Lawrence, how was it?
Hey, good morning, guys. As you guys know, when the president hit the stage, he had this message of "I told you so," that method of feeling a little bit of vindication, comparing himself to Joe Biden on the campaign trail, and he feels like some of the stuff that he warned America about is coming to pass. Now, before he hit that stage, I had the opportunity to talk with the president. He was very jovial, had a lot to say. Let's take a look.
Mr. President, thank you so much for agreeing to interview.
Well, thank you.
Let's start with crime, right? These are the numbers right now. 2020, this is from the FBI. Murders are up 24%, almost 25%. What would you do to address the skyrocketing crime that's going on? Many of these crimes are happening in local communities.
Yep.
So what is the agenda on that issue specifically?
So as I've heard you say, all Democrat states, if you look at, as an example, Chicago, Illinois is very bad, but Chicago, take a look at the numbers. They had 260 people shot on 4th of July weekend. New York, through the roof, no more cash bail, no more anything. All they do is go after Republicans. Take a look at Los Angeles, what's going on in Los Angeles with the crime, and Oakland and Baltimore. What you have to do is you have to give the police back their authority. Now, some people say, oh, that's a terrible thing. What's terrible is in Chicago, you have 200, think of it, 260 people were shot last, 260 people. In Afghanistan, you don't have 260 people shot. In fact, by the way, in the last year in Afghanistan, we didn't lose one soldier. And I started the move out, and I don't like what's happening the way Biden's doing it either. And I'd love to talk to you about it because it's not good. But we didn't have a person shot. We didn't have one soldier killed in Afghanistan for over a year. And you have 260 with many dying in Chicago. And New York is through the roof. The crimes, the shooting, what's going on in New York is totally out of control. You have to give the police back their authority.
So, Mr. President, I want to dig deeper into
You know, the police can stop this.
They can stop
this. The police are afraid they're going to lose everything. If they go after somebody, they're going to lose because some bad acts were done. And because of those bad acts, they've destroyed these police forces.
And it's been happening for years, even before defund the police.
That's true.
That's only made it worse. Yeah. So, Mr. President, you allude to what I talk about them being liberal cities. But I also follow up by saying, where are the Republicans taking those seats back? Why isn't there any Republicans in these local communities? They're begging for help. Is there an opportunity there?
So they've been Democrat for 100 years. You look at New York, you look at Chicago, you look at some of these cities. They've been Democrat-run and badly run for 100 years. I mean, it's the way it is. The Republicans fight. In Baltimore, we had a great young representative who was fantastic, African-American woman. She didn't make it, didn't quite make it, but she's fantastic. It's almost like a habit. You put a Democrat in, and I'll tell you what, we did.
You won some Democrat states, Democrat cities.
I did.
Because you went in there and did the work.
Correct.
So what were you able to do that they're not able to do?
Well, we did very well, as you know, with the Hispanic and with the African-American vote. Records, we did records with these votes. I was able to convince them that what they've been doing in the past was wrong. I got criminal justice reform approved. You know, that was a big thing, Lawrence. Nobody thought they could do it. Obama couldn't get it done. I'm not even sure he tried that hard, frankly, but he couldn't get it done. Nobody could get it done. We got criminal justice reform done. That broke the ice to a certain extent, and we were able to get tremendous votes. Also, the minority, every minority group, they want law and order. They want police. They don't want to be accosted. They don't want to be shot. And that's what's happening, and we can't let it happen
Can I
any
ask you a
further.
question? Let me
It's
get
a tough
let me get your
situation.
comments on culture, because there's a lot going on within the culture, and you were a culture warrior. You didn't mind taking it
am.
on.
Yeah.
A lot of things happen in the schools. We saw it in the colleges. We saw it on the university campuses, even some of those private schools. And now it's making it from the high schools to elementary school. What is the conservative response to this anti-American sentiment, not teaching all of history? What do you say to
Well,
that?
it's the exact opposite. It's called 1776. It's the exact opposite. We love our flag. We love our country. We salute our country. We love our country, and we honor our flag, and we honor our heroes. We honor George Washington. I mean, they're taking George Washington's name off of schools in San Francisco and different parts of the country. What is going on? It's crazy. Abraham Lincoln, they want to take his name off 3 schools on the West Coast. And I say, what are these people thinking? It's almost become, in my opinion, a sickness. There's something wrong.
You think it's out of control? Let's talk about the economy. It is fair to say the stock market is booming right now. Right. The economy is booming. But what I see, and when I talk to businesses on the street, they say that they're competing with government, that there's paychecks being out there, and they cannot keep up. They can't continue to increase their wages. So what is your message to the small businesses that are out there? Because they feel forgotten right now.
So the stock market is doing well, but that's also habit a little bit. Mm-hmm. That can change very quickly because inflation is going to become terrible. Mm-hmm. When I left, it was $1.87 a gallon for gasoline. Now it's $3.50, and it's going to go much, much higher. We were energy independent. Within another month or so, at this rate, we will not be energy independent. We're going to need Russia, Saudi Arabia, the Middle East. We're going to need all of this. Lumber prices are through the roof. All the prices, meat prices, food prices. If you have inflation, we saw it during Jimmy Carter's reign. Jimmy Carter had inflation. Prime rate went to 22%. The economy crashed. They're going to have to be very careful. The economy is very fragile. You're going to have tremendous inflation. And if you have inflation, only bad things can happen.
Lawrence?
So, guys, the main thing that I wanted to get from the president is the agenda. As a matter of fact, I refused to ask him if he was going to run for president. I said, Mr. President, you're back on the campaign trail. You're highlighting, you're headlining the biggest convention for conservatives. You're pretty much going to run. So outline the agenda for the American people, and that's why you saw him go point by point.
So, Lawrence, what was the event in Texas? Because, their annual 2021 convention for CPAC was in February in Orlando. So what are they doing in Texas this week?
Yeah, so when the pandemic hit, they were not allowed to have CPAC at the National Harbor. They've had it there for years, so they went to Florida. It was so successful that they decided to do another one in Texas, which is God country. And so I
from
think
Texas.
CPAC, that's exactly right, sir. So I think CPAC is on to something here. A lot of the supporters didn't even want it in Washington to begin with. I think they want to be out and about with their supporters all across the country.
Good enough. Well, he sure sounded like he was running yesterday.
He did. He told Sean Hannity, I think last week. Remember, he said he has made a decision, but he wouldn't tell Sean what the decision was yet. He said he would consider Ron DeSantis as his vice president if he does run for president.
Hey, Lawrence, he looks like he lost weight.
So before. he has, and he's very happy. Before he left, after the interview, me and him had a little bit more of a back and forth. He said, "You're a little tough on me." And he goes and he says, I said, "So, Mr. President, can I break the news that you're going to run?" And he goes, he almost said yes. And he smirks and he goes, "I think you'll be very happy." And then he leaves the conference room.
Because he assumes you want him to run.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, you did a great job on Saturday, too, Lawrence.
Thank you, my friend. We talked about crime, talked about the solution for the country. Sean Hannity always said, this is our American family. We cannot just let our cities be out there shooting one another and not do anything about that.
Indeed. All right. Lawrence Jones reporting from God's country, where he's from, down in Texas.
That's right.
Deep in the heart of it. All right. Lawrence, thank you very much. You can see more of Lawrence's coverage from CPAC as well as former President Trump's full speech at foxnation.com. If you don't have it yet, sign up at foxnation.com and you'll get a free 30-day trial with the code CPAC.